Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Sports Corner Show. My name's Ralph Williams, along with Smokin' Jim Frazier, my co-host by the way of phone. Coming up shortly, we have our special guest today, Ken CATALONE from the Ken in the Morning Show on the Huddle Sports Network, and Ken will be joining us shortly. He covers the Green Bay Packers, and we're going to talk about the Packers-Steelers matchup coming up this Sunday on Sunday Night Football on NBC. All right, let's get started here. We got to pay a few bills first before we get rolling. And we're in the MOTA Heating and Air Conditioning Studio at 724-2010-500. MOTA Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call MOTA, Western Pennsylvania's #1 heating and air conditioning company. That's 724-2010-500. MOTA Heating and Air Conditioning. And then also, we are sponsored by Mike Dotson Realty, Ocean City, Maryland, area code 410-596-1681. Mike Dotson Realty, call him today. If you have any real estate needs, rentals, or anything you want to get in the Ocean City area as far as real estate goes, give Mike a call. That number again, 410, area code 596-1681. And Carey Insurance Group, call Steve at area code 302-642-6201. That's area code 302-642-6201. Carey Insurance Group. Give Steve a call today. All your insurance needs in the Delmarva area. And also, we're in Studio 10 here in Berlin, Maryland. All right. Also, this show today is dedicated to my late father, Ralph Williams II, my late nephew, Sean Negley Jr., and my late family friend, Lauren Madler. Also, Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Thanks, Ralph. I'm doing good, buddy.
All right. My rant today is kind of like twofold, I guess. Number one, the Steelers blew it on Thursday Night Football. They decided that they were going to play this zone defense against a guy like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So what happened? Joe Flacco ate him alive. Jalen Ramsey got eaten alive. The rest of the secondary of the Steelers got eaten alive. They all got eaten alive. How in the world do you let two guys beat you in this game? Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase. And Chase Brown, the running back, who only had, 30 yards per game, and all of a sudden he looks good against the Steelers. Mike Tomlin and the Steelers need to clean up this defense and get it shored up and get moving, because they play Green Bay this week. And let me tell you something. If you thought Cincy was bad, Green Bay could be even worse. And that's my rant for today as far as the Steelers go. My next rant is I want to talk about the officiating as a whole, both in college and in the pros. The officiating is horrible. That's why I'm wearing this shirt today, in honor of the officials who are incompetent, the officials who don't do their job properly. And here's the thing that bothers me about this: college football, they don't discipline their officials, and the pros now have just started to discipline the Thursday night crew from the Steeler Bengal game. And let me tell you this much right now: I have to give this to Roger Goodell and the discipline committee with the NFL for doing this, suspending this crew, because it was atrocious. Some of the calls that they were doing, especially against the Steelers. They were deliberately picking on the Steelers, from what I could tell, based on what I saw and what I heard. And it was just very, very unacceptable to me. And also, Pitt has had some issues with ACC officials as well. Pat Narduzzi, every game has to blow a blood vessel. That's unacceptable as well. Alan Green, I urge you, do what Heather Lyke didn't have the guts to do. Go to the ACC officiating committee, show them video of how atrocious this officiating is, so that Pat Narduzzi doesn't have a heart attack on the sideline every week because he has to scream and holler at these officials for bad calls. That's my rant for today. Twofold. Go ahead, Smokin' Jim's wisdom.
How about them Cowboys? I tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys
you said
posted 44 points against the Washington Commanders. Hey, listen, Dallas Cowboys is just going to get gooder and gooder, man. They got CD Lamb come back. It looked like his blood brother, George Pickens, had another fabulous day. They got an outstanding running back they got from the Denver Broncos that wears number 33, and Dak Prescott, who's the MVP of the league, in my opinion. Hey, listen, if they're good this year, just think of what the future is going to bring. 2 first-round draft picks in 26, 2 first-round draft picks in 27. You're looking at a dynasty. Hey, Ralph,
yes,
real quick. You got 2 coaches that came from the same organization. One is 4-2 with the Chicago Bears.
And the other one
is the other one is 0-7. Hey, listen, man, he looked like he's in way over his head. We said before the season, all he had to do was keep Aaron Rodgers. Everybody, except for me and you, thought Aaron Rodgers was washed up. He was too old. He was too this. He was too that. Now the Jets benched their starting quarterback and Justin Fields, and it looked like they got a real shot at 0-17.
That could happen. You're right. You said it on air, and Glenn, and so we're gonna go from there. Ben Johnson doing 4-2. That's better than 0-7. And here I have a gentleman here who knows a lot about the Chicago Bears. This is his partner on 10 in the morning. The Bears covers the Chicago Bears, and here's the guy who covers the Green Bay Packers for Huddle Sports Network, Ken CATALONE. Ken, how are you today, man? Welcome to the show.
Oh, not too bad, buddy. Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime when it comes to Pittsburgh versus Green Bay. And it comes draft season too. We also I also try to have you on for draft season too. Talk about the draft and what's going on with the Packers. So, Ken, let's get started here. I know the Packers have had some tough sledding, as have the Steelers in some games. I always say this, and you know it because I've been on your show to say it. It's better to be lucky than good. And sometimes, the Packers have been lucky and the Steelers have been lucky, but not good. All right. But past Thursday, the Steelers' luck ran out against the Bengals, and against Joe Flacco, who I think is almost like Aaron Rodgers, but now Aaron Rodgers is doing better than Joe Flacco. He's moved to another team, but then here's the thing: he moves to another team and then beats us up. So there you are. All right, is the man? Yep, get the popcorn popping and the sodas and get the soda popcorn and the popcorn popping. I used to say that years ago in the 90s, Ken. I had a TV show on a public access channel, TV channel in Pittsburgh, and I always used to say, "Get the popcorn popping and the sodas pouring." This time, Sports Talk Ralph Williams show. So there you go. And I've got some carryover from that. So there you go. All right, Ken, let's get started. Packers, what can we expect from them this week coming up? What's the injuries look like? What's going on with them?
Injury-wise, we still have a couple of key guys that are going to be questionable. Devontae Wyatt has been out with a few weeks with his knee injury. I'm starting to hear like he's progressing and he has a possibility to play this week. Nothing set in stone with that one. Van Ness, that one, for some reason, they're playing real close to the chest with his injury. So I got a feeling he's going to end up missing this game, though. But Zach Tom is farther away from the oblique injury that he had, and he looks to be playing like how we're used to seeing Zach Tom play. We finally have a running game going, so I couldn't be happier. And the major part of it, what I've been clamoring for most of the season, granted, a lot of injuries kind of messed up the starting offensive line, but we now have taken Sean Ryan out at right guard and put Jordan Morgan in, and it's no coincidence that the run game has taken off since we've done that.
All right, Travis here has asked me a question here. Let me see here. Oh, no, wait, 24. Yeah, here we go. Travis asked me a question. What do I think about the Steelers thus far? Smokin' Jim, you and I can answer that question. We think it's been sort of a up and down season, and they've gotten lucky a few times. What do you think, Smokin' Jim? Go ahead.
Well, I think they're having a great year. They blew it against Cincinnati, but they could get right back on the horse this week.
All right. Also, we got Travis asking us what we think about the Giants. Do you have any hope for the New York Giants? You know, how about you, Ken? You can answer that question too. You know what I mean?
I would actually give them a little bit of hope here with this Eagles game that's coming up. They played the Broncos very well all the way up until the fourth quarter, and then the defensive coordinator decided that he was going to turn around and look at the stands instead of the field to call the plays. And they've already beaten Philly already, and Philly has shown a couple of cracks in that foundation. So they're not the dominant world champs we saw last year. Granted, they are still a very good team, but it wouldn't shock me if the Giants win.
The Dart Scatterboo. Smokin' Jim was the one that talked about that. He said that at the draft. Dart and Scatterboo, we should have at least drafted one of them, the Steelers. They didn't draft either one of them, and now they're putting on a show for the Giants. I mean, they really are. Even though the Giants may have lost a few games, there's some hope for them. But the one thing is, I will say, if the Giants blow at the end of this season and don't at least make the playoffs or some kind of a 500 record, I see, or 9-8 or something like that, I see Brian DeBoe getting fired. That should have happened last season to begin with. But, we'll go from there. Sports Nuts, welcome to the program. Thank you for your kind words. Sports Nuts, Brandon Keeler, he was on last week with us to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and a bunch of other. We talked about football and a bunch of other stuff. He was on with us last week. And, the booking machine is back and moving again. Here we're going to start getting some guests on as we go along. There's the Sports Nuts. He has a program tonight, 7:30 p.m. It's got some great guests coming on along with Matt and Shane and the guys there at the contributors, Brian Pettit from the Tiger Stripes Media Network, who also works with myself and Pensman Sports. There's Tiger Stripes and then Pensman Sports right there. And they'll be on tonight. They're contributors to the show. Pensman talks about hockey. Brian, he's a stat man. He does all the stats. Anything I need or we need for stats, Brian's the man. So, there we are with Brian as well. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see. Travis says, are you saying there's a chance? Yes, there's a chance the Giants could actually, at least get to 9-8 or something. I mean, at least do something. I mean, they got Dart and Scatterboo, and that defense isn't bad. It's just that they finally found where they need to be, by benching Russell Wilson, who I think it's time for him to retire. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with him. But I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. I think he has a wife with some spending habits. You know what I mean? Or whatever, So, but anyway, you know how that is. All right, Facebook. We're going to go on Facebook here, take a look, see if anyone is watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, Kick Network, and the Huddle Sports Network we are on today. My guest is Ken Catalone, who covers the Green Bay Packers for the Huddle Sports Network. Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Ken?
The Packers back. Is Watson going to play this week? I'm hearing rumors that he may be back.
Yeah, from everything that I'm hearing, it's trending that he will be playing this week against the Steelers. Now, granted, I don't know how much of the snap count he's going to get. I wouldn't be surprised if they try kind of drip feeding him in, especially with the injury history he's had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Travis is asking us about Tyler Lockett being released, and should the should the Giants sign him to a 1-year deal? Well, yeah, if you can get him, yeah, I would sign him. Unlike the Steelers, of course, who need a number 2 receiver, they get rid of George Pickens, like Smokin' Jim said. And, I was on that little bandwagon to get rid of George Pickens. But when you take a look at what he's done in Dallas so far, I think the Steelers got egg on their face. He's, how many times have I said it on your show, Ken? How many times have I said it here? A change of atmosphere can do a man good. Just look at Daniel Jones. Just take a look at some of these guys. Coaches the same way. Let's take a look at some of these coaches out here that have moved on to other, atmospheres, and they're doing good, and some are not doing real well at all. Like Aaron Glenn, So,
And
the Meredith Packer fan have a YouTube channel. Yes, he's on.
I don't personally have one. I have one for the Huddle Sports Network where I broadcast all my shows there. But I do have a personal, a Green Bay Packers page on Facebook that is Packer Backer News.
Oh yeah, and then also Ken is on several other shows on the Huddle Sports Network as well. He's like on every show practically, I believe, almost every show.
Just about.
Yeah. And Wednesday night, Ken and I are on the NFL Roundtable show with Jeremy Ballrick and a bunch of guys on there as well. I want to send a birthday shout out to Will Vogel. Will's been on this program, talk about the Carolina Panthers, and Will covers them. So I want to say happy birthday to him. He was on, I didn't get a chance to say happy birthday to him last week, but I know his birthday was this past week. So I want to say happy birthday to Will. All right. Some more about the Packers here. How's Jordan Love working out right now? That loss to Cleveland was a bad loss. What happened there?
The loss to Cleveland, I blame most of it on that block kick. Is that really flipped the momentum of that game? Well, no, that one I think was the extra point. Either way, it was either the block kick or extra point because we did them in back-to-back weeks.
Right. Yeah, and I thought that was just a horrible loss. Like the Steelers have had some horrible losses. The one on Thursday night to the Bengals was unacceptable to me. The Bengals offensive line had 2 rookies in there, and our big money men were nowhere to be found. And, so I thought that it was a good game playing by Zach Taylor and Joe Flacco. How do you let Joe Flacco beat you? Well, guess what? Just play zone defense. That's how you make Joe Flacco beat you. Don't sack him. Don't, you know what I mean? It was just, but again, Ken, and I think you'll agree with me, like when you guys play Minnesota and you guys play Detroit and you guys play the Bears, when it comes to a division game, records are out the door, man. They're
absolutely. You know these teams very well, and there's almost no surprise that you're going to have unless you come out with some trick play that you've never shown before. They pretty much know what you're going to do. Maybe not when you're going to do it, but they know relatively what you're going to do.
Yeah, Detroit last night dominated Tampa Bay last night, and your thoughts on that game real quick, and then we'll get Smokin' Jim. Smokin' Jim, before you get your thoughts on that game, Ken. Smokin' Jim, you have any more questions for Ken?
Yeah, Ken, how do you do it, man? Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers only had 2 quarterbacks in their history of their franchises. You guys had at least 4 with Bart Starr. How do you keep coming up with these great quarterbacks, brother?
A major thing that I got to give to this is a credit for the coaching staff that we put around these guys. They develop them and sink their time, not just into the guy who's starting, but into the guy that they are grooming, which is another major part of it, is we have either groomed our own quarterbacks for a few years, or we got Brett Favre. Granted, he didn't have too much of a grooming down in Atlanta because they looked at him more of a sideshow, but he wasn't thrown into the fire. We give these guys a little bit of time to get their feet under them first.
Right. Oh, yeah. And then I got to tell you, coaching-wise, Holmgren, McCarthy, LaFleur, Vince Lombardi, You guys have had even Lindy Infante wasn't even a bad head coach at one time. So I mean, Green Bay's had some good coaches. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre we're talking about here, and Jordan Love, who sat back, waited his turn, and got his time in. And the Packers were smart enough to develop a quarterback and get somebody in here after Rodgers stepped away and went to the Jets. And then, when Favre stepped away and went and did his thing in Minnesota and Atlanta, you know what I mean, and that kind of thing. So what I'm saying is that, Green Bay is a great organization. It was nice to see the Steelers in Green Bay in the 2010 Super Bowl. That was an interesting thing because you actually have two good organizations at the time, two good organizations right now with the way the field was last week in that home game against Cleveland. The NFL is now investigating the Steelers for that. Rumors are going around that there's rumors circulating that it was done on purpose. I don't believe that to be the case, but you know something? That field's been a problem for many years. They won't go to an artificial grass surface. You can get artificial grass or artificial turf. No, I'm not talking about like turf, the hard stuff like they used to have in the Astrodome or Three River Stadium or any of those places, but I'm talking about you can get some artificial, really good grass that actually works. You know what I mean? And for some strange reason, the Steelers won't go in that direction. They keep on using the same old stuff and getting the same result. So
I think a lot of that has to do with the major pushback you're getting from the players about playing on turf.
Turf, yeah.
These fields that are terrible, like the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field or down there with Pittsburgh, that's causing some issues too. Now, granted, I think you definitely have to revamp that field, but I wouldn't push for turf personally.
Right. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on this turf investigation or whatever the NFL's come up with?
Well, you know me, I think the NFL players are a piece of meat. They're there for my entertainment. So I would go back to the hard turf. There was no problem with me watching that, brother.
Yeah, you've always said that they are actually. Even though it's like employees that work for an employer and you have a union and the union's useless. You know what I mean? That's the NFL union. They're kind of useless. You know what I mean? They really,
you've seen how many times they've been hit with collusion just this past off season.
Yes, exactly. Especially since Gene Upshaw passed away. He was the best, I think, as far as and I think Smokin' Jim will agree with him. Gene Upshaw was the best representative for the players. Whoever's been representing them since then, forget it.
It's been J.C. Trotter, a former Green Bay Packer.
Oh, get out of here, for real. Oh,
I swear to God, unfortunately.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. All right, Ken, do you have any final thoughts before I let you go or whatever? Anything you want to tell us about the Packers moving forward here? Play Sunday night against Aaron Rodgers and everything.
The only thing that I worry about with facing an Aaron Rodgers-led team, especially with the weapons you have at tight end, is how in the hell are we going to cover them? Because we have one good corner in Keyshawn Nixon. And Nate Hobbs, I don't know what to call him, but he hasn't been playing cornerback this year.
Wow.
He's been freaking terrible so far. Granted, it's him being in a new system and all that. So hopefully he's going to start catching on more. But that's been the major Achilles heel of Green Bay's defense is the cornerback position. And I'm hoping, because I've seen it way too many times, that Rodgers doesn't pick that apart. I want to see Jordan Love go out there and show the old dog that he's the one with the tricks this time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And also, how's Michael Parsons doing, actually? Has he been doing good?
I freaking love having him. He has a very high pressure rate. Last game, he dominated and took over that game. Now I'm looking forward to seeing a few more games like that.
Oh, there you go. I heard he's got this ongoing back problem or something that was supposed to slow him down, but apparently it seems like he's got that covered with cortisone. So,
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
It's not too much of an issue. Now, granted, when he first got here, it did limit him a bit, but he seems to have relatively healed from it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, Smokin' Jim, do you have any final thoughts or any final comments or anything you want to ask Ken before I let him go?
No, Ken was awesome, man. That was great. Great stuff, Ken.
All right. Ken, thank you for being part of the program as always. And I want to thank you and the other Ken for having me on in the mornings at times whenever I can get there. You know what I mean? So, and I appreciate you letting me come on the air with the Huddle Sports Network. And I'm still trying to get some technical issues worked out here. And, so we'll get that straightened out eventually. And also, everybody, I wanted to bring to your attention as of yesterday, I signed a contract. I will now be on every Thursday starting November 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. on Highway Radio Hits online radio station. I will be playing some great rock hits, and I go under my DJ name that I use when I do weddings and private parties and everything, called DJ Fun, F-U-N. So DJ Fun is back, but now he's on the internet radio station. So there you go. All right. The return of DJ Fun. I haven't been around for a while because I was busy getting things ready for my move to Berlin, Maryland here, but I'm back, and I will be back for my return on November 6th, 2 to 4 p.m. on Highway Radio Hits online. Check them out. They also have a Facebook page you can follow. I got Ballrick involved. I got Pensman Sports. I got Brandon Keeler and all them on there as well on the Facebook page, following them, and you can follow them as well. And if you're interested in being a DJ, they got some slots available, so check it out. Get a hold of them. Highway Radio Hits, and if you're interested in DJing on there, I'm on from 2 to 4, November 6th. It's every Thursday, 2 to 4 p.m., playing some great rock hits and doing some DJ work I haven't done for a while, but we'll get there. So there you are. All right, Ken, thank you for being part of the program. Say hello to the other Ken for me, and I'll try to be on this week. All right.
Will do. And hey, thanks again for having me on. It's always a pleasure, man.
Hey, thank you for letting me come on your show, man. I appreciate it as well.
You're always welcome, buddy.
I'll probably see you tomorrow night, correct?
Tomorrow night I actually won't be on.
Oh, you will not be on the round table.
But I will be on the round table the next week.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'll see you sometime this week. Then I'm going to try to slide on there. So,
all right. Sounds good, buddy.
Great one. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. That was Ken CATALONE from the Huddle Sports Network. Ken and Ken in the Morning Show. He covers the Green Bay Packers. Does a very good job of covering them, and he had a lot to give us today as far as what's going on between Green Bay and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, Smokin' Jim, Green Bay, Pittsburgh. First, let's dissect the Bengals in the Steeler game. Since 12:50, The Answer on Saturday had technical issues, and for some strange reason, our show, the right programming didn't get on. So I want to say that we didn't get a chance to talk about the Bengals and the Steelers. Let's talk about them here on the Sports Corner show today. The Bengals-Steeler game. What were your thoughts on this game?
Well, I thought that it was a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers could have made things much easier for themselves moving forward. If they'd have been 5-1, it'd have been a nice, comfortable lead. Don't forget, Cincinnati's only one game behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, right now in the win column. So, and they're talking about Joe Burrow will definitely be back before the end of the season. So, hey, listen, Cincinnati got the weapons. I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers had the wrong defense dialed up. I thought they should have came after Flacco. You knew where he was going to be. He was just going to be stationary in the pocket. I'd have sent everything but the kitchen sink. You weren't going to stop that pass.
No, not at all.
But you could have sacked him. You could have created a lot of punting situations with sacks and loss of yardage and this, that, and the other. Like you said before the show, Ralph, sitting in that soft zone doesn't do nothing against Flacco. No. He had too much talent out there.
Yeah.
For a receiver to catch 16 passes in one game, man, is almost unheard of, man.
Yes.
He's all pro for a reason. They got some quality weapons. I was surprised how well they ran the football. They're not a running team. They haven't been good running the football.
And they had two rookies playing on the offensive line, too.
Good point, bro.
And their offensive line for years, Smokin' Jim. Remember, they got eaten alive in the Super Bowl, and I said it was going to happen on Steel City Sports World when we did that special Super Bowl show. I said that the Bengals were going to get eaten alive because their offensive line is terrible. And guess what? They did. The LA Rams' defense ate them alive. And,
You're right.
and it's been like that since Zach Taylor's been the coach here. I don't know what it is with their drafting of offensive linemen. They got that bum Ladarius Mims. He gets penalties every game. I mean, he's worse than Bumrick Jones. I mean, so, I mean, he's worse than him. Or like Luther would say, what is it, Bustrick Jones? I call him Bumrick Jones. But actually, Broderick Jones had a pretty good game this past week. He blocked pretty good to let Rodgers get out of the pocket and throw some passes. I was actually quite surprised. So, But anyway, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to give him any credit because he's a bum, and that's the way it is. So, But anyway, my thoughts on the game were, and I'm going to take a quote from Claudio. The big money guys didn't show up. T.J. Watt didn't really do a lot. Cam Hayward didn't do anything. Highsmith, he was on the field, but he was kind of invisible. Herbig didn't do hardly anything. It was just a bad day for the defense because of the scheme. I mean, I just can't believe that you would go into a zone like that when you're playing up against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and they've got a couple tight ends there. Excuse me. Wow. Excuse me. Flacco, like Aaron Rodgers, can make you a good player. Yeah, he can get the ball to you, and the Steelers should know this. They've been burned by Flacco before. And the thing that bothers me is, excuse me, wow. They thought that once Flacco, I guess, was gone from Cleveland and then went to Cincinnati just in time to play the Steelers now. Remember the trade to Indianapolis last year or whatever, and we got burned by the Colts. So, and we got to play the Colts this year with an up-and-coming Daniel Jones. So, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of tough sledding for the Steelers as we go here. But if they continue to do that against even more talented teams than the Bengals, they're going to have big-time problems this year, Smokin' Jim. What do you think?
You said it well, man. I
Yeah.
can't even add anything to it.
Oh, I mean, it's unbelievable that the Steelers played the way they did, and it was just on the defense. Now, on the offense, Arthur Smith, what he should have done was stick to the running game. You always stick to what's working. You shove it down their throat until they can stop it. The Bengals could not stop Jaylen Warren. I mean, he was all over the place. He ran the ball. He had over 100 yards rushing in this game. I don't know why they didn't stick to the running game. And what I would have done, if you knew Flacco was eating you alive, what's the one thing you do the most, Smokin' Jim? Is you keep their offense off the field. So what do? You hold the football as long as you can, boil the clock down. And this is another prime example of what I've said for many years, 18 years in the league, and this coach still has bad clock management. Go ahead, Smokin' Jim.
Yeah. I tell you, it was a game that shocked all Steeler fans, I believe. But if you look on it, before the season, most people were rating Cincinnati ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now that's with Joe Burrow in there,
Right?
But Flacco looked every bit as good as Joe Burrow. Hey, they got tremendous weapons. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers properly prepared for the Cincinnati Bengals. The coaching staff seemed to be in shock. But like you said, everything was working offensively. The running game was working. Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdown passes to give him 14 on the year. He's on pace to break the Steelers season record for touchdown passes. So Freiermuth, the return of Freiermuth.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Up.
Oh, man, that was great. Yeah, we needed him, because we don't have a number 2 receiver. Our number 2 receiver's in the tub. Can't help the club if you're in the tub.
And,
Calvin Austin in the tub. Don't even know if he'll play this week. So, I mean, Mike Tomlin said today on his press conference that he's not sure. He says Calvin Austin's going to start practicing tomorrow. And he said, we will let how's he put it? We will let the performance be our guide, or his participation be our guide. So that's exactly what's going to happen there, and we'll go from there. Any final thoughts before we move on to college football pit and move on to some other topics here?
I think you wanted to talk Green Bay a little bit.
Yeah, we could talk about Green Bay. Let's do that. Jordan Love has been a pretty good quarterback. Their defense, as Ken said, is a little bit suspect in the defensive backfield, but they said that in the Super Bowl, and they ended up beating us in the Super Bowl. They had fifth string defensive backs playing, and they still were able to cover our receivers. Ben couldn't throw any balls to the receivers. How in the world do you lose that battle? But that's the Steelers. So anyway, they, other than Michael Parsons and a few other guys, their defense is actually pretty good. Their offense moves the football. You got Josh Jacobs. My concern is Josh Jacobs going to run all over the place if the Steelers don't clean up this situation this week, and it could be a gloomy day at Acrisure Stadium, even though you're there, Smokin. Jim, but go ahead.
Well, the last time Green Bay beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh?
When? I can't even remember the last time, because every time I watched them at home, the Steelers always beat them.
1970, Terry Bradshaw's rookie year.
Wow.
Bradshaw threw one touchdown and 4 interceptions. I was at that game, and they always have entertainment at halftime,
right?
Like the Grambling Band, rugby, but they had Phyllis Diller doing the comedy routine, man, and they booed her so bad. I felt sorry for her. Nobody could hear anything she was saying because the fans were so pissed that the Steelers playing so bad they just booed her. But hey, listen, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Teams get desperate. I thought Green Bay was on pace to be a good contending team over the next 4 or 5 years. I think that's going out of the window. I think they're above average team right now. Okay. Even with the trade now, you're locked up. Your salary cap's locked up because you're paying the guy.
Yes, right.
You're paying the guy quarterback money, $188 million, $47 million,
and you lost draft picks too. You lost draft picks.
You cannot build a future if you don't have first round draft picks.
Right.
They don't have a first round next year. They don't have a first round in 2027. And then on top of that, they lost their all-pro defensive tackle because they had to give him to the Dallas Cowboys in a trade, Kenny Clark. So I think that Green Bay Packers will have to do something this year because their team's going to only get weaker. You're the only expert I've heard that brought up that Carson is damaged goods. He got that bad back.
Right. Yes.
He's a cancer in the locker room. I'm telling you, I don't care how well he's doing right now when the temperature is 70 degrees. In Green Bay, it's the ice bowl.
It's not 70 degrees in Dallas, Texas. Yes, exactly.
Why did the Pittsburgh Steelers? Why did they say the Pittsburgh Steelers neglected their field? Because they tried to slow down Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Listen, what's going to slow down Micah Parsons is that ice bowl. You cannot get off on a pass rush if the field is frozen, and he's going to be unhappy in Green Bay. His heart is still in Dallas, and the Pittsburgh Steelers got a great opportunity to knock Green Bay off. It's a primetime game.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and we do pretty good on Sunday night games. Thursday night games, the Steelers don't do well at all. Mike Tomlin's got a really bad record. So, I mean, but we'll see what happens Sunday night. I think you're right. I agree with you. I don't think Green Bay has the talent. I hope the Steelers come out with a better game plan than they did against the Bungles. And, I don't want to hear no excuses. You get paid a lot of money. And just to say, well, the week was shortened and we didn't have time for this. You knew You were playing the Bengals. You knew Joe Flacco was their quarterback all of a sudden. What, you can't make adjustments? Is that exactly where we are here now? 18 years of head coaching and you can't make adjustments? I bring this up all the time, Smoking Jim, because this is the continuing problems with mediocre Mike Tomlin. It's a continuing problem. I mean, it's just time of clock management, what they call game planning. And he wanted to put his finger on his defense. He brought in the yes man and Terrell Austin, who's a horrible defensive coordinator, got fired by Dan Campbell after his first year with the Detroit Lions. He got fired. Detroit don't even want to hear that name. I mean, I'm telling you, yes, Jeremy Ballwick, they don't even want to hear that name up there. It's just like down in Miami. They don't want to hear Nick Saban. They don't want to hear Dave Wannstedt's name down there in the Dolphin land. They don't want to hear. There's a few other names they don't want to hear either. But I'm just saying that it's like that up in Detroit. They don't want to hear his name. And whenever you are that bad, and also too, don't forget Terrell Austin was a candidate for a Pitt head coaching job at one time too. So I mean, a lot of people forget that. I mean, let me ask you this question, Smoking Jim, as we lead into Pitt real quick. But first, let's get a score here. Green Bay Steelers on Sunday night. I'm going Steelers 30, Green Bay 17. Go ahead.
I'm looking at, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they're going to win, they're going to have to score in the 30s. So I'll say high scoring game, 34-32 Pittsburgh.
You were successful with it almost last week. Yeah, that was pretty funny how you said 34-32, and then all of a sudden, here we are, 33-31. I was like, oh, my gosh, how close Smoking Jim is with his scores. Except for when you say 75-10 or 75-70 or something, but you're usually not that good with that. So, but anyway, Smoking Jim, let's talk a little bit about Pitt. And my question to you today is, Pitt won against Syracuse on Saturday, and again, it's better to be lucky than good because they actually did get lucky. They won this game. They had some injuries. Mason Heitchel got hurt, and they had Lewis is hurt. Biles is hurt. I'm not sure exactly where Desmond Reed is. He's always hurt. So your thoughts on this game on Saturday against Syracuse and moving forward, do you think if Narduzzi goes, who would you pick to be the head coach of Pitt? And I have a candidate in mind right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to be proud of the University of Pittsburgh program.
Yes.
They struggled, and they looked like they found a quarterback. Of course, last year they thought they found a quarterback as well.
Yes.
But if this guy, he was only a 3-star coming out of high school, but if he's the real deal, moving forward, what they did against Syracuse, man, and the team is enthusiastic. They're playing behind this young quarterback. They got weapons in the backfield. Reed, number 25, Turner is only a freshman. They got about 5 different running backs. The receivers are starting to come along. So, what they did against Syracuse last week made Pitt really a contender in the ACC.
Yeah, well, exactly. And now Pensman Sports says on Saturday that he thinks Pitt's going to be in the hunt for the ACC championship if they continue to play the way they are. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. They have to play Georgia Tech, who's on the roll. They have to play Notre Dame, who I believe they could lose to. And I believe you and a few other folks were right when you said Pitt could go 8-4 this year. And if they win every other game other than those two, they're going to be 8-4. So my question is, where do they go moving forward? And I have a candidate for a Pitt head coaching job, and he's a Pitt alum. And I have a candidate, Alex Van Pelt. I think if Narduzzi gets fired, they should hire him. He's a good coach. He's good at developing quarterbacks. He's an offensive-minded kind of coach, and bringing a good defensive coordinator and pay him. And I think Alex Van Pelt would be a really good head coach. When he wasn't getting along with Stefanski in Cleveland, he sat down with Narduzzi after Whipple left and wanted the offensive coordinator's job with Pitt, but decided to stay with Cleveland. Him and Stefanski, I guess, worked their issues out. and then he ended up getting fired. So or moving on or whatever it is he was doing. And I think Van Pelt's would be a very good head coach for Pitt. He's he's a Pitt alum. He loved Pitt when he was there under Mike Gottfried and Paul Hackett. So I mean, I think that, but let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's see what Pitt does the remaining of the season. But the two games that I don't see them winning, unless they pull an upset, and Narduzzi's known to do that, is you got Georgia Tech and you got Notre Dame. Those are going to be your two tough games because Georgia Tech's in the top 10 right now, and Notre Dame is in the top 25 as well. So, but Notre Dame can be beat. So can Georgia Tech. So let's see what Pitt does moving forward. Let's see if Mason Heitschel is not as hurt as bad as they said he is. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I do know he did get injured in the game, and I hope Holstein's not starting because if we go back to Holstein, this could turn into a bad season. What do you think moving forward, Smokin' Jim? This week, they're playing a tough NC State team. Dan Doring has beat Pitt a few times. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. What's the question, bro?
I said they're playing NC State this week. What's your thoughts on NC State's a tough team. They come in, they always battle Pitt, and they always beat them. And Dan Doring's got a pretty positive record against Pitt as NC State coach. What your thoughts on this?
Well, there's a guy that's on the radio station here in Pittsburgh. It's The Fan, 93.7.
Oh, boy.
The Fan. Yeah. And there's a guy on there who's a producer named Nick Callis. And Nick Callis this morning thought that the North Carolina State's emblem on their helmet stood for Syracuse. So he's taken they've been ripping on him all day. Every show's been ripping on him, man. But he says he doesn't know anything about college football, so he didn't even know that owl was black and gold. But where's Pitt playing that game this week?
It's going to be at Acrisure Stadium.
Okay, they're at home. NC State is a good program, but the way Pitt is playing, I wouldn't put anybody. I wouldn't favor anybody over Pitt. I would go with Pitt this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think they're moving along. I think Narduzzi got the message that his job's on the line, and I think he's got his team starting to roll. Well, let's see where they go. They have a bad habit of Pat Narduzzi got what we always call the Tomlin special, which we saw on Thursday night. So there's always those Narduzzi specials too. You know what I mean? When you think Pitt's going to win, they lose. That kind of thing. And so we'll see what happens. Something about that building on the south side, man. Jeez, I don't know. I don't know what the curse is over there. Oh, Santonio Holmes. That's right. That's one curse. The Pitt curse is Steelers should have drafted Dan Marino. I think that was, the Jackie Sherrill curse, actually. They haven't been really relevant since Jackie Sherrill. So I think you'll agree with me on that one. So, I'm talking about really relevant, winning games in the top 5 every year, that kind of thing, so, but, so even I saw Jackie Sherrill with, in 1977 with Rick Truccano as his quarterback pull out a bowl, go to a bowl, a pretty reasonable bowl game, not these, what do they call them? Enchilada bowls and all that other stuff, toilet bowls and all that. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, Smokin' Jim, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here?
No, I think you covered everything, Ralph. Good job, man. You had some good guests on today. And the guy that you had out of Green Bay, Ken, he was excellent, man. He really broke it down, man, and gave us some insight to how Green Bay is developing all these quarterbacks from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Love, and even before that, they had the great Bart Starr. So,
hey, is Will Howard coming? He hasn't been activated lately, has he? He's still injured, right? Will Howard.
Well, we got enough tight ends.
Yeah. You're still on it about him being a tight end. What's he going to be? Another Phil
That's his
Dracovic,
future.
huh? Another Phil
Yeah, that's
Dracovic.
his
Yeah.
future. Don't forget, Heath
Yeah.
Miller was a quarterback in college. He ended up being a tight end.
Yeah.
Kelsey was a quarterback at the University of Cincinnati. He ended up being a tight end. So it ain't far fetched, brother.
That's it. If you can't throw it, you can catch it. You know what I mean? So all right. Don't forget
plus he's a runner.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a runner at Kansas State. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Coming up at 5, don't forget Wrestle Talk with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. We're going to talk about All In, the pay-per-view from AEW. What a crazy pay-per-view weekend that was. Sting made his appearance again in the Darby Allin-John Moxley match, and some dissension in the Hurt Syndicate. Although they won their match, but Bobby Lashley, I think, wants to do some singles stuff. And, I think he's being held behind. And, he's quite upset about that, I'm told. And there was a bunch of stuff going on. Mercedes Moné now has 10 belts now. And she's won just about every women's title in every wrestling company across the United States and around the world right now. And she's got a bunch of belts. We can talk about that as well. WWE last night's Raw. They had a battle royal for the, for the number one contender because Seth Rollins is hurt. And now he had to give the belt up. What Becky Lynch said to Paul Heyman last night was actually pretty interesting, Smokin' Jim. We'll talk about that coming up at 5 o'clock on Wrestle Talk with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. Also, don't forget the Ralph Report Wrestling Edition. After every pay-per-view, I will break down the pay-per-view itself. And that's every time after every pay-per-view, I do the Ralph Report Wrestling Edition. Also, don't forget tomorrow night, if I can find it here. Here we are. I think I got it right down here. Yep, there we go. All right. The Ralph's Opinion, The Way I See It show tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. We got a lot to talk about. The way I see it, we're going to talk about Ocean City's government. They have some things going on, some decisions to make, and a couple of them are boneheaded decisions, but a couple of them are not bad. But we're going to talk about that as well. Also, some stuff going on in Pittsburgh. Pennsylvania still doesn't have a state budget. We'll talk about that tomorrow in The Way I See It. Ralph's Opinion, we still have the government shutdown. When will it end? When will we get back to work here and get this economy rolling and get our? Do you think it's wrong to bomb ships in the Gulf or whatever for delivering drugs to the Caribbean? I want your opinion on that tomorrow on the Ralph's Opinion show, 7:30 tomorrow on our social media platforms as well. And then don't forget as well, coming up the triple header of Ralph Williams Saturday. As well. We start off with, and actually Sunday too, the Ralph Williams Tony Moreno show is now on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. On the 1250 The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial, and 1250 The Answer, PGH.com. The Ralph Williams Tony Moreno show, 8 to 9 a.m. Lots to talk about. And then Sunday, starting this Sunday, October 26th, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on The Answer, 1250 a.m. and 92.5 on the FM dial, 1250 The Answer, PGH.com. The Ralph Williams Tony Moreno show, Sunday edition, also coming up this Sunday. And then at 10 a.m., we have the college football show with me, Ralph Williams, Pensman Sports, Brian Pettit, and that's coming up. That is on Saturday at 10 a.m. And that will be on our social media platforms here as well. And 2 p.m. on 1250 The Answer, same thing, 92.5 on the FM dial, 1250 The Answer, PGH.com. The Sports Corner Radio Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. And don't forget also to check out my schedule right here, which I post on my social media platforms of all of my shows for RW Media Productions. There's the schedule of events that goes on all week long, every week, same time, same place, unless otherwise noted, as well. And then also don't forget November 6th, Thursday, November 6th, I will be DJing on the highway on the Highway Radio Hits Network. Check them out on Facebook. You can follow them. They also have other shows on there as well. I'll be under my DJ name, DJ Fun, and I'll be on every Thursday starting November 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. For Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Have yourself a great one, and until next week, we will see you next Tuesday. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Wrestle Talk.